All right, welcome back to the Kiss Army Things podcast. This is episode 30. My name is Jeb.
My name is Xander.
Today we're going to be going through some of your comments, digging through some of those on Instagram and YouTube and Facebook and wherever else, and seeing what you guys got to say, see if it sparks any good discussion or anything interesting or controversial. But before that, I think it's due for our Kiss Spotlight.
Kiss Spotlight, absolutely.
We do every single week, and I want you to start it off.
Okay, for sure.
If you can.
Yeah, I can, and if you see my shirt, you can see where I'm going, and I know I did
Again?
it. I know I did it recently.
Man, don't even go there.
I know, but if I'm being honest, Sonic Boom is still in my CD player. So I basically just put CDs in and just leave them in. You know,
until you get sick of it.
Until I get sick of it, or until I want something else. I'm not really somebody who, and I used to be, but I'm not somebody who just constantly bounces around from this to this. I used to be, but now I just kind of sit and listen to the same things over and over. And
really interesting.
Maybe it's laziness, maybe it's, whatever. But Sonic Boom is an album that I kind of just did not listen to for a while. Mm-hmm. And there's no reason for that other than it's not on streaming.
Yeah.
There's not just, vinyl floating around of Sonic Boom that you can just find for a, good price. So because of the Walmart Sonic Boom distribution thing and the fact that it's not on streaming and it's not just on vinyl regularly for available price, I just don't listen to it as much and as often. But I've had the CD in my CD player for probably 2 or 3 weeks at this point, it seems like. I have been changing out and going to other bands.
Sure.
But when I go back to Kiss, it just always seems to be Sonic Boom. And I know we're not doing hot takes today.
Oh boy.
But I think it's a perfect Kiss album.
Okay. Wow.
I think it's a perfect Kiss album. There really isn't a song on there that just makes me go, oof, you should have left that off. Uh-huh. Or, it's terrible. It's just straight ahead rock and roll Kiss album. Yeah. Even Gene songs, which are clearly just 80s recycled demos,
right,
even those are really good. Russian Roulette I think was the song that I maybe put at the bottom of my favorites from Sonic Boom, and I love that song. I think it's great.
Sure.
I think it's got a killer intro. Gene's vocals are great, even though they're not the demonic demon that we usually get. Sure. Sonic Boom to me is just a perfect Kiss album. Kiss isn't known for their production on their records. I don't think Kiss records are...
Bar and Destroyer, not really.
Destroyer is done really well. I think Psycho Circus is probably the best produced Kiss album, sonically speaking.
Oh, sure.
But Sonic Boom, I think, is actually, again, part of that being a perfect Kiss album. Yeah. The production on that album is actually really good. Sure. It was always something that I kind of, when I first heard it, when it first came out, I wanted it to be heavier. I wanted it to have that crunch that Monster has. Right. And it's funny because as the years go on, I've actually kind of flip-flopped that, where I actually love the crystal clear quality of Sonic Boom. Right. An album that sounds like it was released in the 2000s versus Monster, which sounds like, almost like Hotter Than Hell, where it's just very muddy and...
Yeah, all analog, old school.
Yeah, and so...
Which I like. I prefer...
Oh, I love Monster, don't get me wrong. Monster's top 5.
I prefer Monster over Sonic Boom production and song-wise.
For sure.
A lot of people don't care for the muddy production of Monster, but it's an acquired taste, I guess.
Yeah.
But it is quite a flip-flop. It's almost annoying how you can go from just 2 albums back-to-back and they sound completely different, but that's Kiss for you.
Yeah, that's Kiss, and I do enjoy that because you can clearly tell that both of those albums were done by the current Kiss. Yeah. Monster is definitely a follow-up to Sonic Boom, yes, but they are almost polar opposites in every way. Yeah. The colorful atmosphere of Sonic Boom versus the dark... kind of like darker tones of Monster. Yeah. The crystal clear quality of the production versus that raw sort of energy you get from Monster. Yes. Both of them are, they're good albums, but they are polar opposites in that regard. And I know that I just recently spotlighted Sonic Boom, but if I'm being honest, what's the Kiss album listened to the most recently?
Gotta be
Sonic Boom. Yeah. However, I will in a little bit get to something else that I've been digging into lately, but we'll get to that later because I want to know what Jeb's been jamming to. Jeb, what you been?
Well, there's been 2 albums that have been in regular rotation for me, and I may have done one already, so I might save that one for next week as long as I'm still listening to it. But the one I'm going with is Rock and Roll Over, 1976.
Nice.
If you've heard the album and you have, you know why it's just front to back, absolutely flawless record. The necessary follow-up, in my opinion, to Destroyer. I feel like it had to have been an album like that, in order for them to continue that momentum and regain maybe some of their fans that they maybe had lost from Destroyer. But gosh, that album, it's amazing listening to it hot off Destroyer, and kind of tying into the Sonic Boom Monster sort of thing. You have Destroyer, which was totally polished, crystal clear, and then you're going back to what Kiss does best, in in the same year as their follow-up record, kind of stripping it all back, letting it all hang out, doing almost like a Sonic Boom Monster sort of thing with Eddie Kramer. But that album to me is like, when I think of Kiss or the classic Kiss sound, that to me is that album in its entirety.
Absolutely,
it is absolutely phenomenal. Every single song from start to finish, all the performances. It's every time I listen to that one, I think, okay, that it definitely belongs in the top 5, and I think it's in the top 3, and it's like. But I think it's the best album of the 70s.
Yeah, Rock and Roll Over.
Kiss album of the 70s.
I think when we did our top 5 Kiss albums, that one was in both of ours, and rightfully so. And it's one that when you talk to Kiss fans, it ends up being at the top. And I think Rock and Roll Over and Sonic Boom are both perfect Kiss albums because they're not overthought.
Exactly.
And Sonic Boom could have easily been an overthought album because it was their first in 11 years.
Sure. And,
they could have tried to do, well, let's do this and let's do that and like kind of Destroyer,
And Psycho Circus.
And Psycho Circus.
Which was supposed to be a concept album.
Psycho Circus was definitely overthought.
Yes.
And it became something that it wasn't really meant to be. But Sonic Boom, you can tell it was just, look, don't overthink it. Just write these songs, record them, get them out and done.
Same with Monster.
And Rock and Roll Over was the same way.
Yeah.
And Kiss has done that a lot too, where, they'll put out one album and then the next album is the complete opposite.
Yeah.
Because, going from Dress to Kill studio album to Destroyer, huge difference.
Yeah,
like you said, Destroyer to Rock and Roll Over, huge difference. Even though Love Gun and Rock and Roll Over sound pretty...
They're comparable.
They're the same. Going from Love Gun to Dynasty.
Completely different.
And going from Unmasked to The Elder to Creatures of the Night.
Creatures of the Night. There's always a gap, there's a leap.
Even though it's only like a year or two...
It's wild.
It's pretty wild to see how much Kiss jumped back then. I can't imagine what Kiss fans were thinking back then, where it's like, you just never know what you're going to get.
Well, see, what Kiss was good at is just throwing anything at the wall and seeing what sticks.
Yeah.
They were built to survive.
Yeah, well, for better or for worse. I know fans don't like The Elder, but you have to, you can at least commend Kiss for just going all in.
True.
And, they committed.
At least Gene and Paul and all that.
They
Gene believed in that.
But, Kiss in the early days, when you look at a band like Kiss doing what they were doing, wearing the makeup and doing all this crazy stuff, it's like, man, that could have just been easily what are we doing? This is dumb.
Could be easily discouraged.
Stupid. This is, it's never going to last. But they said, you know what? No, we're going to commit.
It takes 4 egos to say,
and
we're going to stop at nothing.
And they weren't listening to anybody else. They were just doing what they thought was cool and what they wanted to do. And I respect the hell out of them for that. So I'm spotlighting Sonic Boom, and you're doing Rock and Roll Over.
Similar album covers, too. Didn't plan that.
Yeah, and they were done by the same designer.
Same designer, yes.
Michael Doré. I never heard his last name spoken out loud, so I could be mispronouncing it, but I know his first name is Michael. Michael Doré.
Good on you.
Yeah, it did great. So that's what I'll spotlight. And then real quickly, before we move on...
Got a surprise. Oh, yes.
This is what I was... what I could have easily spotlighted as well.
Sure.
Although it's been here in the house on the turntable as opposed to in the car in the stereo. Yeah. So this is a bootleg that Jeb picked up for me called Kiss 88. This is a performance that Kiss did at the Ritz in New York on August 12th, 88. Yeah. I think we actually talked about this on a previous episode in reference to it being on Spotify.
Yes.
So which is kind of funny because I still don't understand how an official bootleg or a bootleg, an unofficial release, gets put on Spotify because it's not on Kiss's official page. No. It wasn't submitted by Kiss or put on by Universal or whatever, but but somebody somehow got the performance that Kiss played at the Ritz in 88 on Spotify. So if you're still holding out like we are for a 1980s off the Soundboard release, definitely check out Kiss at the Ritz on Spotify. And if you can't find it, search, I think, War Machine. I found it by searching War Machine because I wanted to listen to War Machine one time, and I saw an album cover that I did not recognize.
Yeah.
And it said Kiss Ritz 88, and I was like, what?
Yeah, I feel like there's a few different iterations of the same project with different covers. And because it's a bootleg, anyone can do it, what they want with it. Yeah,
the bootleg on Spotify has a cover from that era, the 80s era. You look at this is clearly the original's Kiss. Right. And I've always wondered, what goes through people. See, this is from Second Records. I've never heard of Second Records.
They're a European. I got that at a local record store, a little bit north of where we're at now. I just saw it there, and it came. It's officially packaged. It came in its own little clear sleeve, which is over there. It's on a translucent orange vinyl. It's totally.
I'm gonna get that.
It's really cool. But I was surprised. I saw that, and I was like, what?
Yeah, check out how dope this looks. So hopefully you can see it where you're at, and it looks just as cool to you as it does to us. But so this is a translucent yellow-orange record, which I've never seen before. They're doing all kinds of cool stuff now with vinyl, just the different colors that you can get on them. And they've done it for a while, but it's crazy to see an unofficial release get this kind of treatment.
And I wonder how that record store got it, because it was brand new, and they must have imported it. It says not for sale in North America.
I was going to say, it even says not for sale, yet you bought it in North America.
Made in the EU, not for sale in North America. But I don't know, very cool.
It's crazy how all that stuff gets over here.
Yes, every time you go to a record store, and I'm sure every time I go to the record store, I know you do it. And if you collect vinyl or CDs or whatever, even if you've already got something, or even if you don't think they're going to have anything, you always check the case.
I always check the case.
Because sometimes I just think, okay, I was here a month ago, they didn't have anything, or they never have any Kiss. Well, this record store had Kiss, and I was pleasantly surprised to see, kind of I can't say it's rare, but something cool like this, something cool and random for the collection.
Oh yeah. I'll say for me it's definitely rare. I don't really see many bootlegs floating around. I know a lot of collectors do.
Yeah.
But it seems like that show in the Ritz is probably one of the more popular bootlegs out there.
One of the more widely circulated ones.
Yeah, but it's that Second Records. I was saying earlier, I was like, I wonder why, or what they were thinking when they were packaging that, and putting in maybe they were either not Kiss fans and they didn't know their era, or they were just thinking, well, makeup era. Cover, yeah. Maybe they were thinking makeup Kiss sells better than non-makeup Kiss. So if we put the makeup era on it,
that's a good point.
Maybe it'll get a sale. But of course, to us Kiss fans, you look at that and you're like, why is the original Kiss on the
1988? We're far from.
And you get all butthurt about it. But anyway, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, thank you again for picking that up. You've had my back a lot recently. That Psycho Circus gold CD.
Yes.
A few other things. The other bootleg
from 74.
Yeah, from April 74.
Yes, very cool.
Which is on Spotify. The Ritz concert from 88 is listed as the date from that other 74 bootleg, which...
Gosh, it's weird.
Oh, yeah,
speaking
crazy.
And unofficial...
Speaking of unofficial releases, yeah.
Kiss fans have been getting... We've been treated quite well.
Oh, man, it's the summer of Kiss.
It's the summer of Kiss, and, I guess footage and material that wasn't intended to be leaked on YouTube. And I'm sure if you're a Kiss fan, you know exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah, if this episode gets 0 views, it's because every Kiss fan is off watching all the unreleased footage that's been coming out over the last... Probably by this point, the last month when this episode comes out. But and some of it's been taken off, and you can kind of you can see it kind of coming back up from everybody else. I mean, the floodgates are open. We're seeing footage that has never been released in full like this coming out for the first time ever.
Yeah.
And if a couple young fans are excited, I can only imagine the 70s fans, the 80s fans, and how, the entire army is just, loving seeing some of this footage. I know Cadillac was one that I was really astounded to see in full. You're talking 10, 20 minutes of just footage of people, recording Kiss coming down the road. And it's funny because a lot of that footage we've seen over the years.
Oh, yeah, in clips.
And various, like that Kiss repackage from the farewell tour they played.
Yes.
There's
Extreme Close-Up. They probably had some of that in there.
Yes, yeah. They. It's funny because, you and I watched Kiss Extreme Close-Up the very first day we became Kiss fans. That's what made us Kiss fans.
Right.
And for about 3 seconds, you can see footage from them, the original Kiss, doing their rehearsals
without makeup.
And I never thought anything about that.
Yeah.
Just because I've watched Extreme Close Up my whole life.
I thought it was B-roll.
Yeah. Well, you're thinking it's just either concert footage or it's just whatever.
Random band.
All of a sudden, here comes Kiss, full rehearsal, tour rehearsal, show rehearsal, and you're watching it, and I'm like, where have I seen this? And it's because of Kiss Extreme Close Up. And then even Largo 75.
Yeah, that was big.
Where, again, in Kiss Extreme Close Up, you have a little clip from Cold Gin.
Yes,
where the microphone goes, time again. And we've seen that our whole lives, and only now are we actually getting that entire full show.
Yeah.
And so, even though it, wasn't released officially or in the best way, I mean, how can we complain?
How could we? Well, I mean,
it's none of our business, any of that stuff. We're just reaping the benefits at this point.
Yes. And what I'll tell you, what really got me was, Largo, Cadillac, unbelievable footage. But the footage with Paul Stanley with the bandit makeup on was just...
Ooh, yeah, bandit makeup.
I never even thought about having footage, any live recording. And it was a really short little compilation of stuff, but just the fact that exists, I'm like, again, we can't speak to how this was obtained and released and the ethics of it, but all I can do is just sit back and have my mind blown and say, thank you to whatever... for allowing me to see this.
Oh, yeah.
Even for a short amount of time before they remove it or this. But, this band's like 50 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying just let it out.
let me see it,
just
man.
And this makes me... some of the stuff makes me wonder how more of this stuff, the stuff that we were talking about, didn't end up on the Kissology series.
Right.
Who owns what? Who has the rights to what? And why couldn't they have done something? Because, oh my gosh, they could have done another... 2 or 3 discs.
Well, and
that's the original lineup.
And I hate to be this guy, but
sure.
But let's just be honest. Whenever they do official releases, whenever there's an official release, it's always scaled back. Even though we had 3 volumes of Kissology with disc after disc, talking 6, 7+ hours on each, volume, you could tell that they were holding back.
Yeah.
Incomplete shows and. Non-complete footage. So whenever, this stuff happens, this unreleased footage gets released in mass in bulk like this, yes, that will prevent future official releases to come out.
Sure.
Because now it's not unreleased. Now it's not as exciting. I'm sure fans and Kiss fans like you and I would still buy the hell out of it to collect it, to have it, to own it, to support it.
Yes.
And so even though when these things happen, when these mass leaks happen, yes, it may prevent official releases from happening, but that's okay because we're going to get the most with these unofficial releases.
Sure.
Because some of this footage is coming from the Kiss3 A&E documentary that was released. And, when they did that A&E documentary, that was a 4-hour documentary.
Was it really? Oh, it was. Because
I
forget how long that was.
It was a 2-part documentary that was 4 hours. But just one of these unreleased clips is an hour.
Yeah.
So you're talking you're only getting crumbs in this Kiss3 documentary.
Oh, yeah.
These official releases, you get crumbs because there's too much.
There's too much footage.
So when it comes to these massive leaks, you're getting the complete experience. It does suck for the people that own the rights, and it does suck for the people that are in the band and in the label. But let's face it, you and I can't control that. I can't control what leaks and what doesn't, and I can watch it or not watch it if I want to, but let's face it, we're guns to watch it. I'm guns to watch all this footage.
If we're going to put it in front of me...
I'm going to eat it up. Yeah. And
by the way, and we should say, to absolve ourselves, if there were some sort of official release or some kind of a sanctioned, above board release of any of this footage... I would pay good money for good quality footage like that. I would be happy to pay.
Yeah.
I'm sure you'd be happy to pay whatever for those if that somehow were made available. I don't think it's going to happen now.
Yeah, well, I'll say, Kiss fans, if you're going to give it to us for free, that's great. If you're going to make us pay, that's fine too.
Yeah,
but if we're not getting it, get out.
Yeah, if we're not going to get it, then shut up about it.
Then shut up about it, and we'll do what we have to do to get it. But it's just either way. It's just cool to see some of this stuff because
I was going to say it was a treat for us, especially for the 70s fans, but also fans like us who just marvel at the 70s.
Yeah, ever since I've been let's see, one of the cool things about being a younger Kiss fan like us is I remember back in high school, when they were on Sonic Boom and Monster Tours and everything was new, and it was like every single day you could just get on social media and you could see the set list posted. You could see photos that Kiss was posting from the shows. People were uploading their clips to YouTube, and it was like, everything. This is so awesome. Everything is out there. But you and I were not there when Kiss was taking over the world. We weren't there when they were at the pinnacle of their popularity. And so this is our gateway, our insight to this era, which we know it already. Yeah. You and I know it like the back of our hand because we've studied it. Yeah. This is our chance to actually live it. Yeah. You were talking about the Bandit footage a minute ago. Oof. And before that, I was like, we all know that Paul Stanley was the Bandit for a short period of time. He was the Star Child, then the Bandit for a minute, and then back to the Star Child. Right. And we've seen photos, and we all know the history, but to actually see it. Yeah.
It was wild. I couldn't believe it.
Wild.
It was blind.
And I never thought about it, too. I was never in my life have I ever thought, man, if I could just get my hands on some Bandit footage, life would be complete. No never thought about it. And then when you see it, you're like, oh, damn.
I didn't think anyone did record anything.
No.
With the Bandit.
And I commented, like, who filmed this? And someone said, hey, had to have been Bill or Sean Delaney.
Oh, yeah.
Had to have been one or both. And I'm like, thank you to either of them. I mean, them two, man, I don't think get the credit. Well, no, maybe they do.
I think now they do.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah. I mean, obviously, Bill was the mastermind behind the merchandising and the vision, right? And then Sean was there to be
he was
the ultimate Kiss fan, because Kiss they're on stage playing and performing, but they can't see themselves, Right. He's the guy that going, okay, you're doing this and you're doing that, and man, just to be there would have been so cool. But hey, either way, we have some great footage to sink our teeth into. There was some Shandy footage, the Shandy music video. There was like 20 minutes of B-roll unreleased footage from the Shandy shoot. And
that's too cool.
What else we had? Kiss Asylum.
Yeah.
Pro Shot Asylum.
Finally. Yeah, I was like, that's another thing where, there's tons of, because we got the great footage from Animalize, which I love, on the Animalize tour. But Asylum, I just completely forgot about. And of course, going from that to Crazy Nights, there's great Pro Shot Crazy Nights footage out there, but Asylum
Pro Shot
now,
Crazy Nights, Hot in the Shade, Pro Shot Animalize.
Yeah,
but you'll be hard pressed to find any Pro Shot Asylum.
Finally we got it.
And that's one more thing that I kind of just
didn't even think
realize.
about.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, I've seen pictures of them from that era. I know their outfits were trash.
Yeah, they looked awful. They looked awful. I watched it and I was like, oh, maybe this is why it wasn't released. No one wanted them to see Kiss.
No one wants to see. Yeah, but either way, and so it makes me kind of wonder what Bruce thinks about this. Because obviously, I mean, I doubt he would, maybe, I don't know, like get any money from it if it were to be officially released.
I hope so.
It makes me wonder, kind of what Bruce's thought was like, oh, hey, wow, I haven't seen this. This is a great memory lane. I get to...
Bruce has a lot of stuff, though. He's got...
Oh, he may already have some stuff.
He used to record his own, Kiss concerts on cassette and listen to them back.
Really? I did not know that. Pretty cool.
On his YouTube channel, he's talked about that a little bit. He's got his own... Basically his own Kiss bootlegs.
That's dope.
I would kill to get into Bruce's house.
I mean, I know Bruce has some stuff because he's played us some stuff.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, and he's the biggest supporter of his era. So, on his YouTube channel, he's done videos on a lot of videos of Carnival of Souls, which I absolutely love. His videos on Carnival of Souls.
Yeah. So kind of, I don't know, it just makes me wonder if he's thinking like, oh, this is cool to see, this is awesome, or if he's thinking, no,
I think he would be more happy about it and say, look, more people are going to see this great tour from my era of the band, and because he's no one's more proud of that era than Bruce.
You're right. I bet Eric Carr would be, but he's not here. So Bruce is championing the '80s.
I say Bruce does that on his behalf, really, because he's keeping Eric's legacy alive too. But he's so into the '80s and his time in Kiss. I think he would look happily upon that and say, finally, people get to see this great time with the band where before they couldn't. Maybe I'm being overly optimistic. But
yeah, I mean, it could be.
Maybe we'll get Bruce on the podcast and we'll talk about him.
That would be great.
Talk about him.
Also, speaking of Bruce, there was revenge footage released.
Yeah.
There was Pro Shot Revenge footage,
see, all eras.
which we already have that show from, what was it? They were in the Palace in Detroit.
Auburn Hills?
Yeah, in Detroit. There was that on Alive 3. So we already have Pro Shop footage, but Revenge is my favorite era.
Yes.
Revenge is probably my favorite era musically of the band. So I'll take all the Revenge content you got to give.
Same.
So that was really cool to see that too. But yeah, just awesome stuff coming out as far as all this unreleased footage. It'll be interesting to see what happens with it. And, if there will be another Kissology. Because Kissology 4 is not going to happen. I don't know why people keep wanting Kissology 4. The name doesn't exist anymore. You can't.
Yeah. You know what someone needs to do?
VH1 Records is out of business. That name, Kissology, cannot be owned by Kiss or be used by Kiss anymore. Right. If they're going to do something like that, it has to be something different. There will never be a Kissology 4. Drop it.
You know what? Peter Jackson just set the standard for this kind of stuff.
Shit, yeah, he did.
Think about Get Back. If you're a Beatles fan, and me and Daphne were just talking about this before the show, because we finally got it on Blu-ray. Some passionate director out there who is a Kiss fan needs to pay a lot of money for whatever kind of footage they need to do to get another official release. That was a very specific thing. I'm just talking about someone putting together a Kissology type product. Yeah. Just classic Kiss footage, restore it, make it Blu-ray, 4K if you can, because I'm a fan of that.
Absolutely. Because
the Kissologies, I'm happy to have them, but they don't look terribly good on DVD. They don't look,
Yeah, they came out way over 10 years ago.
Now.
It's kind of considered old now, so it would be cool to see somebody, get the rights to this footage and upscale it and run it through some AI where it's going to
I wish they could do that with the Kissologies. If they could upscale and do a Blu-ray release of that or a 4K release, I would pay decent money for that.
I've been, I can't do anything officially, but I've been going through...
But anyone can now.
I've been going through and upscaling some of my Kiss footage just because, again, I can't show everybody because I don't own it, but I have upscale software that I just love to use.
Yeah.
And, so I'm hoping that, in the future, it would be great to see some of this stuff come out because...
Sure. The 50th anniversary is next year. Of course, we just had the Annie documentary, which was great. Kiss is, they're adding some more tour dates, but after that, they're going to be done. 2023, 50 years. I'm thinking if we can get someone to do a big... not a documentary, just a compilation of old, just do basically a Kissology.
Right.
But with footage that we haven't seen.
Yeah, the Annie documentary was great, and it was for Kiss fans, but it was also for the world. It was broadcast on, on television, on network mainstream television. Yeah. When was the last time Kiss did a home video release? Maybe Kiss Rocks Vegas.
They had the live thing.
They had the nicely packaged Kiss Rocks Vegas, but think about another Kissology where you're going and you're getting a thick boy box set.
Oh, I would love a box.
Blu-ray after Blu-ray or DVD after DVD.
Love that.
And you're just for the next week, you're just I'm taking off work, taking a vacation. I'm sitting here and I'm watching nothing but Kiss footage.
Yeah, that's what I did with Get Back.
That's what we're doing now with the unreleased leaked footage, but imagine, sitting at home on a home theater system or something like that and just enjoying.
They just have so much footage. Even
this proves that
there's so much more out there than I thought.
It makes you wonder. This is probably impossible, so don't take this seriously. But just imagine having every single show on a whole tour.
Wow, I don't think I would want that.
I'm saying just the possibilities.
Yeah.
If you're a fan of the Revenge Tour, imagine just watching... I want to watch this show from the Revenge Tour. Hey, my buddy was in Miami. Hey, my friend saw... I was at the Pennsylvania show. Imagine being able to just watch any freaking show you wanted. How much footage is actually out there? Well, Gina Paul's got tapes and tapes and tapes. You got Bruce who's got tapes and tapes. You got fans who have tapes.
Oh, yeah. The fans got more than...
The fans have a lot of stuff. Yeah. So, it'll be interesting to see what happens and what comes out. But, yeah, definitely a fun time for Kisstory. Let's get into some comments now, though, because we've had a busy last several episodes talking about, is rock dead? We did a whole 2-part series on that. Check that out if you haven't.
Yeah.
And then we've had tons of guests on. We had Pasquale and Claudio from the Kiss Army Nation podcast. We had Dominic on. Daphne was even joining me on an episode. So it's been busy over here on Kiss Army things. But now we want to just take a step back, relax, chill.
Talk to you guys.
Read some of your guys' comments because we love the fact that you guys want to join us in talking Kiss because we've been doing this our whole lives with no camera. You've been doing this, having Kiss talks your whole lives too. It's really cool to be able to just join together and chat back and forth. And even though we can't do it in person, we can still do it with technology. So, Jeb, you want to read some of the comments? We haven't been getting to much comments in the last episodes because we've been so busy. So we definitely wanted to do that today. So who do you want to shout out?
One nice comment from Henry Chin here. I believe this was episode 23, the Unpopular Opinion / Hot Takes, Volume 2 with Ryan. Henry says, as an older Kiss fan since 1976, I cannot and still have not listened all the way through Carnival of Souls. Because I think that was somewhere in the episode that was one of our hot takes.
Yeah.
Something about how awesome that album is.
Talking about erasing a Kiss album.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that's wrong. Then he goes on to say, I would imagine many Kiss fans have, quote unquote, erased it from their Kiss albums. Not my style of music. Lyrics were too dark in my opinion. Not a big fan of Samurai Sun either, because we talked about Samurai Sun. And he said, but I do respect all of your opinions on what you like and dislike. It's all about timeline. Like another Kiss podcast says, when you became a fan will definitely dictate what you like and dislike. Great show, gentlemen. I just liked it because it was a perfectly nice, respectful, even though, they're expressing a sort of disagreement. I just like the fact that it's like, hey, you like that? Cool. I don't care for it at all, and that's just the way it is. And I feel like people should have that attitude more often.
Yeah, Henry said he's never made it through Carnival of Souls. Hopefully one day he will be able to, because if I'm going to make a confession, I personally have never made it all the way through Kiss Exposed, the video.
I have.
Yeah, for some reason, I've tried like 2 or 3 times, but whether it was something came up or I just couldn't finish it or whatever happened, I've never been able to get all the way through Kiss Exposed. I have the VHS over there, but for whatever reason, I never finished it. So, Henry, listen to Carnival of Souls. Xander, I'm going to watch Kiss Exposed. But, so I'll read a comment here because this comes from our Is Rock Dead episode. And Sean John mentioned King Gizzard and Lizard Wizard, which is a band that you mentioned. King Gizzard are an Australian band, and they are great, but they get no airplay here. Rock radio in Australia sucks. Classic rock songs all day, occasionally a new song, but usually by a classic rock band. Rock radio is killing rock music by not playing new bands. That last statement, man. Yeah. Rock radio is killing rock music by not playing new bands. Obviously, the oldies are the goldies, and, you can never go wrong with the classics, but there will never, ever be another new classic if you don't give it a chance. Yeah. And rock radio, I would almost argue, is non-existent today. Rock radio, maybe it does, I don't know, but it just seems like it's just all pop. It's all just pop.
Well, no, there's some rock. They just play the same Led Zeppelin, AC/DC, Journey,
Guns N'
Steve
Roses,
Miller, all good stuff, but it's stuff that's been on the radio since.
How cool would it be to hear a radio that plays like Sister Dolls and The Warning and some of these new bands that are coming out? That would be fantastic. I would also argue. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, in fairness to King Gizzard, I'm not sure how many of their songs would make it on the radio anyway, because they're more of an album oriented band.
They're a jam band too, for sure. Right?
Yeah, they're not like they don't write hit songs, not like big hit songs. They are phenomenal.
But they had to have a single. Surely a single is good for the radio, because Kiss doesn't write radio music. Yes. But, you can pick what song is going to be on the radio from a Kiss album just by listening to it, because it's written in that way.
Yeah, it's depressing to hear that them being Australian, they don't get any play in Australia. That sucks.
Yeah, that does suck. And it also seems like rock radio, maybe it's not that it's non-existent, it's just music consumption is, you have actual radio, which means go into your car, turn on radio. You have iHeartRadio, which is like streaming. Oh, yeah. Then you have Spotify, and then you have, SoundCloud. You have all these places where you can listen to music.
Too many outlets.
Way too many outlets. And is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? I mean, it's both. But anyway, so that was a comment that I wanted to read because, rock radio killing rock, come on, rock radio, get with it.
Makes a good point.
Let me read this one to you. And let me know if you agree with this. So, this comes from the channel In My Head. Commented on our Is Rock Dead and said, Tommy and Eric know their place because if Ace and Peter can be replaced, then so can they, no matter how long they've been hired by Gene and Paul or how much they contribute. He goes on to put in quotes, and I say hired and not part of the band because no one's been an official member of Kiss other than Gene and Paul since Peter was fired in 79 and Ace quit in 82. So, do you agree with that statement? Tommy and Eric know their place because if Ace and Peter can be replaced, then so can they. Do you think Tommy and Eric can be replaced?
And what? Well, do I think that? Yeah.
Really?
What if like Tommy dies or something?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'll replace him.
If Tommy Thayer were to, or Eric Singer were to unfortunately pass away,
what are they going to do? Stop the tour? And I think they'd finish it. I think they'd be replaced.
This is
It's Gene and Paul we're talking about here. Think about it.
Yes, I know, but at this stage in the game, I do not see them getting somebody else, putting them in the spaceman makeup, and going out and being Kiss. I think if
we had Ed Cannon come out and play drums,
Peter didn't die,
like it was nothing. But if he had died, they would have stuck someone else up there regardless. Whether it be Eric or
I agree that
else.
Well, I mean, I agree that Peter and Ace could be replaced. Bruce, Eric Carr's short, but at this stage in the game, can Eric and Tommy? If Eric Singer were to say, "You know what? I'm sick of this. I am done. For years I've been held back. I'm done." You think Gene and Paul are going to go find another drummer to that they can trust to put on the makeup and show up? Well, I think at this stage in the game, it'd be done.
It's sort of a
weird thing to talk about. I'll be honest.
I was going to say it's all hypothetical and it's almost pointless because of that.
Right, you're right. You're absolutely right.
But because that would because Eric is. I agree with the comment that I don't even know what they know their place means. Like they're just. I don't think they're just disposable.
No.
Not like I don't like your attitude, so we'll just find someone else to do it. I think they are hugely instrumental and significant to the band, but I think they get replaced.
The reason why I would say
because the show's got to go on. We're going to cancel a whole 100 cities because.
Right. No. I see that, but also I think that Peter and Ace, Gene and Paul and Peter and Ace, they weren't friends.
No.
Eric and Tommy, like Gene and Paul are friends with Eric and Tommy.
Yeah, but they're like business friends. They're friends because they keep them at arm's length. I mean, because you think about it.
I'm not saying they're all just like, oh, we just have, sleepover all the time.
They're chummy.
But when we were in Dayton, but when we were in Dayton, they were doing Eric Singer's little birthday.
They had a blast.
And Eric was, kind of punching at Gene, and Gene was like kicking at Eric. There's things like that.
There's camaraderie there.
That you would never ever see the original four do.
No.
And if you did,
not unless it was the early days.
Right. But the original four were not chummy. And if they were, it was all fake for the cameras and for the fans.
Sure.
The current four,
they love each other.
They actually do.
I agree with that, and
I just don't think that if Tommy and Eric something were to happen, I just don't see them putting a third person in the Catman makeup and saying, "You do this."
You don't think they have someone backstage if Eric gets sick? You don't think they have someone on standby to put on the makeup and the
only person I can think of would be Eric's drum tech. I don't know who his drum tech is at this point.
They'll get someone.
Because they did replace Peter with.
Ed Cannon.
With Ed Cannon,
they had someone
that one
ready
show.
to go because it's just like a.
But
if you're doing a play,
but Peter can be replaced.
And you have an understudy. You got to have someone.
Yeah.
I don't know if they don't have that for Gene and Paul. If one of them goes down, it's over.
Right. Yeah. Gene and Paul, you're not gonna, But all right. Well, Gene's sick, so we're gonna finish the tour with New Demon. No.
I think at the end of it, all we could say is it's hard to say, and I don't even want to think about it because I don't want to see Kiss any other way than
no.
Than the last time I saw him was just. It was unbelievable.
Yeah. This current Kiss is the way Kiss should have always been. Four guys on the same page, all contributing. You have no drama. I mean,
and they play. And we saw that show earlier this year in Ohio, and that was the best sounding, sonically the best sounding show that I had seen from them.
Yeah.
And
Tommy
absolutely. And Eric were. I'm sure we mentioned this in that show. They were the. So I think the spotlight was really on them.
Yeah, and we've seen several shows, but for whatever reason, I mean, Tommy was doing some sweeping on the guitar. Damn near was doing some shredding. Tommy usually he'll usually dial it back and play in that Ace tone.
Yeah.
And it was great to see him say, "Nah, forget that. I'm Tommy Thayer."
Eric too, more so Eric than anyone.
Yeah,
Eric's been, you've talked to Eric in person about it briefly about he wants to do more footwork, double bass action.
Yep.
This and that on the albums, they won't let him. And then, of course, when, Alive 3, he could do whatever he wanted, back in the makeup, dial it back a little bit. Now he's just back to playing like Eric Singer.
Yeah.
And him and Tommy both are just on fire every night. It's unbelievable. I mean, and all four of them play. I've never seen Kiss I've never seen this lineup of Kiss not play like their career depended on it.
Right.
Footage or every time I've seen them live, I'm just like, they still really try.
Oh, yeah.
And they do not fail.
No.
Barring any lip syncing and bad timing issues with tapes, okay. I haven't seen that live, and
and things will always happen because it's still a live show, you know. Things are always going to happen, but to see Tommy and Eric bringing the heat like that,
as long as they can.
What we're seeing with this current four, you know, this current Kiss is the definition of what a band should be, because historically bands have been filled with drama. It's full of, you know, slinging mud and all this and that, but with this current Kiss, you're seeing four people who are on common ground and are putting their all into. And guess what?
It's
win because of that.
Yeah,
we win because of that.
For everyone.
It's
and the only people that are complaining are people who don't like Kiss and or who say they like Kiss and won't ever go see them live.
Well, and some people are, addicted to the drama. You know,
absolutely.
When you tabloids and things, the drama and the people like that.
Who was that?
I will never understand that.
Was it D. Snyder or someone came out on Twitter and said, you know, I don't know if it was Sam, maybe it was someone else, but they just added 100 more cities to the tour. It's never ending. They're just in it for the money. I'm like, man, who are you who's not even going to go to the tour? You're not involved in this in any way. He
quit playing shows anyway with Twisted Sister. They quit playing shows, so why are you even talking?
I was going to say, like, the people, I mean, this is a good thing. A lot of people's favorite bands coming back to see us. Well, again, who's getting hurt there?
Well, and who is Dee Snider, somebody from Twisted Sister, to say what Kiss can or can't do? Unless you are in Kiss, you don't get to say shit.
Well, not even saying what they can and can't do, but
or shouldn't do, or what's good and what isn't good,
or saying that it's wrong, or saying that. Like I'm like, there's literally nothing negative I could say about Kiss saying we're going to do more shows, we're going to make hundreds of thousands more people smile, give them the greatest show they've ever seen in their life. So many people who didn't get to see the band before gets to see them. They get one more chance. For fans like us who are obsessed, we get to go and have a good time. I'm like, there's literally nothing negative about about what anything Kiss does now, and yet there's so many people who are really bothered by them still going on.
Yeah,
just like you people are
here. Let me go this route. And I didn't plan this, but I'm going this route. So this is what I will call the Nickelback complex, because Nickelback has been the brunt of so many jokes over the years.
They're hated because they're hated.
They're hated because they're hated, but they're hated because they're popular.
Because it's cool to hate Nickelback.
I was actually recently on a Nickelback kick, kind of going back and listening to some of those songs that I love from Nickelback.
Yeah.
And on Spotify, because on Spotify it'll show you the top 5 or top 10 most played tracks from an artist, and it'll even give you the numbers on how much it's been streamed. Not for every song, but when you look at Kiss, Kiss may have 29 million streams on one song, or 59, 69. Nickelback is getting 200 or 300 million.
Oh wow,
200 million. I'm talking 3 or 4 times out of Kiss. And yes, I get the fact that Nickelback came out, in a modern era, and Kiss is not. But what I mean by this is, in just sheer numbers, Nickelback is by far one of the most successful rock bands of the last 20 years.
Oh yeah.
When you look at all the hits they have, Kiss has never had actual hits.
They've never had.
You will never find. You will never. No, I don't think so. No, you will never find Kiss winning Grammys. Things like that. Dark Horse alone produced 8 singles.
That was a great album.
An album only has, 10 songs, 11 songs?
All of them are rock,
friggin' singles on one album, and all of them chart.
That's like Metallica Black Album.
Unheard of. Metallica is another example where how many people will just tear down Metallica, even though they're the most successful metal band of all time, and will always and forever be. Bands like that, including Kiss, most definitely Kiss, will always be hate. The more something is hated, the better it probably is.
Maybe
that does not always work in every situation. That mentality that I just said, but more often than not, if something is hated, there's usually a reason. Why it's probably...
Well, who's more successful, Kiss or Twisted Sister?
Well, that speaks for itself.
I mean...
Who's still playing?
Who's still drawing huge crowds in Europe.
Could Twisted Sister fill 40, 50,000? No. If they tried, no. And of course, if D were here, he would say, well, I don't want to fill 40, 50,000. I only want to play for... No, that's because you can't. You can't. And that's okay, because, Kiss is doing what nobody else can do. Kiss is putting on the best show ever.
Yeah. The last time I saw him was easily one of the best times I saw him, and the best sounding Kiss show I had ever seen.
Absolutely.
And if they come back around doing more cities in the U.S., you bet we're going.
Yeah. So let's get some more comments here, because this one also comes from In My Head, and this is the same episode, different comment, but same episode. He says, I think in Gene's term, he says, I think his name is Brant. He says, I think in Gene's terms, rock in his generation is dead. Dead in his terms means that the way that it used to be done, the way that Kiss and bands before and after him did it, is no longer viable. To him, the genre does not exist. There's no way to make money and make a living. And that is true.
That's something that we didn't really touch on, because there was so much.
We did two episodes, and we still didn't even scratch the surface on it. We could do a third episode on Is Rock Dead, and it would keep going. But that comment I do agree with, because the way rock was made back in the day,
the way it was supported,
the way it was done is no longer. A record label signs a band, gives them a 3-album deal. Over, kind of like Kiss. Kiss's first album didn't do well. Their second album didn't do well. Their third album didn't do well. It wasn't until Alive and Destroyer where Casablanca was actually seeing something come back from Kiss. In 2022, that would never happen. If Casablanca signed Kiss in 2022 and that first album failed, Kiss would be out the freaking door. Your album tanked, your singles didn't do well. We even let you record Kiss in time, and it failed. So there's no more of that loving and nurturing anymore.
Interesting.
That I think Brant is talking about here.
Something that definitely goes with that. It was a video of Frank Zappa on YouTube who did an interview, and someone was asking his opinions on the record label, what happened there.
Ooh, what year?
I don't know.
Okay.
I think it was the 80s.
Okay, I was like, because he passed in the 90s, so it can't be recent, but...
Oh, no, but it's still definitely applies.
So even back then, he was saying, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, well, they said what happened, and then this was about the 60s or 70s that they were talking about, but Frank said, well, they used to take chances on artists, basically the record company. They used to have some old guy who was out of touch, some cigar-chomping, executive, and they said... Well, I don't know what it is, but just release it and we'll see what happens. And Frank Zappa and Zappa said, well, that was a huge part of the secret of why things worked, because they took chances on artists. And then to Gene's point, and perhaps Frank's point, if this is what he meant by it, they started having people who really knew music started being in control, and they said, no, this isn't good. I'll tell you what's good. I'll tell you what's in right now, because I'm the consumer. I know music. And they stopped taking chances on artists like Kiss.
Like Kiss, yeah.
And stuff like that. So I feel like that may have had a big impact that I think ties into what that comment says.
Absolutely.
The way labels and people like that approached music back in the day, just all in general, was completely different.
Yeah.
And then you had young people who thought they knew what was cool tell everybody else what real music was.
Yeah.
And that's what probably killed it. Maybe the fans did kill rock and roll in a sense.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's not definitely, something that's easily understood or easily deciphered. That's why we did that episode, and maybe we'll come back to it in the future, who knows.
Yeah.
I'm going to move to Instagram now, read some comments from Instagram, because one of the things that we were celebrating in June was the anniversary of Love Gun's release.
Yeah.
And I posted about, happy 45th to Love Gun, and how it was the first record that I ever bought myself.
Absolutely.
And we had a comment from Luxley1987, who commented, OMG, this was my first Kiss album I owned as well. I didn't buy it. I won a bet with a friend of mine where he put up his Kiss Love Gun album. I don't have that original one, but what a win for me. I had already fell in love with the band, but winning this album, and then sometime later when Kiss Meets the Phantom came out, life was good and still is. Kiss will always be there. And I like that, because that was such a positive comment, and of course it's taking us back to an era when Love Gun actually came out. I bought my record in 2009, so he might have gotten his back in 77, 78. What's up?
Hilarious. I hadn't read that comment until you just read it out loud, but it reminds me of how I acquired Van Halen's debut album on vinyl, Which,
okay, I've never heard this.
My friend dared me to jump off his shed, and he would give it to me because I said I wanted it, and that was a funny thing to do. So I got on top of his shed and jumped off because apparently it was really tall or whatever. And then it was a real old beat up copy of Van Halen's debut album.
That is hilarious. I've never heard that before.
Yeah, I don't have that one either because it was already beat up. But I was like, I kind of won that on a bet too.
That's kind of funny. I don't think I've ever won anything Kiss from a bet. Not that I can think of off the top of my head, at least. But I also asked a couple days ago on Instagram, just quite simply, why do you love Kiss? I was interested in hearing some of these answers. And Starchild Kiss Forever says, I love them because they cheer me up after a sad and upsetting day. Mm-hmm. And with Lick It Up, I can say it when I eat ice cream. And their concerts are the best ever. That made me laugh. Oh. Clarissa says, they're the band that brought me to the rock and roll world, which are basically my reason to live now. And also the amount of jokes I can make with Kiss songs and Kiss moments and etc. LOL.
That's a big part of it.
EJXDXD says, the original lineup had a magic to it. That original lineup was hungry, powerful, and made great music. Paul, Gene, Ace, and Peter are to me the real Kiss lineup, and you can see that magic with these footages coming out. That footage is coming out. That's what I'm getting because talk about not a lot of risk in today's music world. Even in Kiss, you go see a Kiss show, it's still the best show you'll ever see, but they're not taking too many risks. They're doing what they need to do, right? They're doing the sway on Deuce and breathing fire and spitting blood and flying and all that. Yeah. Man, them shows in the 70s, they were just all out. Of course, they were a little bit younger, and that's to be expected. But no, you're right. Yeah, there was a magic to it, and they were hungry and very powerful.
Can't take that away from them. Can't.
Juliana, I could be mispronouncing that name. I apologize. Kiss, they're the superheroes of my life. That was their comment right there. So if I had to ask somebody out there, why do you love Kiss? Mm-hmm. We'll read some of those comments on the next episode. But I just quite simply, why do you love Kiss?
Why do you love Kiss?
Why do I love Kiss? It's not an easy question to answer.
I can answer it really easily.
It's very layered, but number one, the music. I know that historically speaking, Kiss has always been dragged through the mud because their music is either not the heaviest or it's not the most complex, and to me, none of that matters. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love complex, heavy metal music, but Kiss's music to me is it's my favorite music.
It's just the best music.
It's my favorite music. Yeah. I love Paul's voice. Mm-hmm. I love Eric Carr's drumming, Eric Singer's drumming, Peter Criss, and Tom Fig. I don't care. I just love Kiss's music. Yeah. I think their image is insane and incredible. I love bands like Slipknot, which obviously may have come from they're huge fans of Kiss. Sure. But Kiss, as far as their image, I mean they took a hold of that and they ran with it. Yeah. I love how good they are to the fans. Mm-hmm. I think that I was watching some footage from the Gene Simmons Q&A from the Expo in 2013 where we met Gene at the Indie Kiss Expo. I was watching somebody uploaded the Q&A and I was going back and I was like, man, Gene could have came out and just acted like, man, this is a waste of my time.
Because he was on TV that morning.
These people are, low-life people. These are scummy people. I make millions. Yeah. And he came out and said, no, these are the people that put me where I am. He said, you're the bosses. We just work here. Right. Without you, there's no us. Mm-hmm. And obviously, Gene is very well aware that we paid gobs of money that day, and he made it worth. Yeah. He gave us our money's worth. But that's what I'm saying. He gave us our money's worth, man. Anybody could have came out and just half-assed it and did whatever. But Kiss, you can't put Kiss and half-ass in the same sentence unless you put the word "doesn't" in the middle. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So I love Kiss because it's music. And it's great music, but it's more than that. Mm-hmm. It's a show. It's an experience. The members, I talk to some people who, I'll ask them like, hey, what's your favorite band? And they'll tell me. Mm-hmm. And then I start to inquire about their favorite band, and they can't tell me jack.
Can't tell you anything about
they can't tell me who the members are. And I'm not saying you need to obsess over your band, and I'm not saying you have to know all the band members and the history thereof to be a fan. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm just saying that with Kiss, we get so involved because it's there, because they allow us to. Right. Obviously, we wouldn't buy this stuff if it wasn't out because we couldn't buy it because it didn't come out. But we can because we love it. And so Kiss offers a lot for us.
Yeah.
And, especially in the last 20 years, Kiss has been consistent. There was a time where maybe you could say you love Kiss because they weren't consistent, because you get all this great stuff happening and you never know what it's going to be. You got Asylum. I mean, I love Asylum and Hot in the Shade and Dynasty and all this stuff.
Yeah.
But the last 20 years has been great because Kiss has been consistent. There's been no drama. There's been no lineup changes where it's like, gosh, I got to keep up with this, keep up with that. Right. It's all love.
Yeah.
You and I have been blessed because our entire history has been nothing but fun.
Yeah.
It has been fun and love and no hate, no negativity unless somebody else brings it in.
Yeah.
Which will happen and that's fine. You get that. But no,
it's not coming from the actual band.
Let me sum it up. I love Kiss because Kiss is positive.
Mm-hmm. And
life is anything but sometimes.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And you need to have something that can give you joy and Kiss brings me joy. So, Jeb, why do you love Kiss?
That's pretty much, right at the end, you pretty much wrapped it up there. Kiss, I love Kiss because they're the band that makes me the happiest.
You said that in episode 2.
Yeah. The reason why I'm a Kiss fan is because they're the band that makes me the happiest. I was going to say
episode 1 or episode 2 you said that.
And that's literally, I could get into all the sentimental, emotional reasons of why I love the band, but really it all just comes down to them being a positive impact on my life. Like you said, right at the end, Kiss is positive. Whenever I need that, it's there. And it's off, whether it's listening to one of the albums, watching some of the footage, or going through old photos, or going to see them live, or talking to you about Kiss, there's always something there that keeps me keeps me going with it.
And I also love Kiss because they are worth being a fan of. Some of these modern artists, man, I just think these are not people that you want to look up to. Yeah. These are not intelligent folks. When I look at Gene and Paul, to me, those are like father figures to us.
Yeah.
Because when I think about how I conduct myself and how I handle myself and how I, think, it's Gene and Paul have really, not been there physically in real life, but they've always been there to sort of like, in a way, guide you a little bit, Because I look at them and I'm like, those are role models. Those are people who don't get bogged down by other people trying to drag them down.
Right.
Those are people who are focused, driven, and passionate. If I can think of 3 things I want to be in life, it's focused, driven, and passionate.
Sure.
And to me, Gene and Paul are role models in that regard.
Absolutely.
A lot of rock stars are the exact opposite. They are lazy. They're rude. They're just, again, now everybody's human, okay? So, I get that. Everybody's a human, and Gene and Paul have their good days and their bad days, and they've said some bad things, and they've done some bad things. Everybody, has, but I just think overall, when I think about who I want to look up to, Kiss is that band.
Yeah.
The, cool dudes.
Absolutely.
Let's move on now. We've had some fun reading a few comments. I wanted to talk to you about the new single that came out from Off the Soundboard because we're awaiting this Des Moines Off the Soundboard coming out in September. And we so far have, I guarantee by the time this one, maybe we'll have a second single by the time this episode goes up. But so far we have one single, Let Me Go Rock and Roll. Have you heard it? What are your thoughts?
I didn't listen to it. And I likely won't listen to the next single because I want to hear this Off the Soundboard ice cold.
Ooh.
Brand new.
Okay.
And there's no real particular reason. Also, I'm still hung up on Donington. I still listen to Donington in my car.
That could have been our spotlight too.
Yeah.
We both could have easily done that because I'm with you, man.
I've been still listening to
Donington's great.
I think it's fantastic. I love the way it sounds. I think they played friggin' awesome.
Yeah.
But this one seems to be a little more special, and I want to listen to the whole thing front to back when it comes out.
Yeah.
So that's not good for the show because I can't say what was awesome about it, but I'm excited to hear it when it comes out.
Well, I can add to that because when the first one came out, the Tokyo show, I was all over. Most Kiss fans, as soon as they announce something, you want to know everything before it even comes out.
Yeah.
So when they announced, we're doing the show from March 01, Tokyo, to Tokyo Dome, farewell tour, I went to YouTube and said, okay, fine, March 2001, Tokyo, Japan farewell tour. And guess
it.
what? There it was. There was the whole show. I watched the whole show beforehand. So when I listened to it, it was still great, but I already knew.
Yeah.
When Virginia Beach came out, well, I had already seen Rock Nation. So, but when Donington came out, I was like, let me look it up. Kiss, Donington, 96. And there it was. And I said, nah.
Yeah.
I hit the X button. I was like, you know what? I could watch this fan shot concert, but maybe it would be cool to just listen to the whole thing.
Yeah.
Like I said, ice cold.
Yeah.
So I think I will do that too, except I already have heard the single, and it's great.
I mean, it's 70s.
It's funny. It'd be weird if one day we're like, yeah, man, they released that single and it just sucked.
Yeah.
Well, you'll never hear that happen. But one thing I thought was kind of funny was one of these websites, Blabbermouth or Ultimate Classic Rock or blah 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 whatever, posted saying new single by Kiss, and all the comments were from non-Kiss fans, and I was like, shut up.
I hate every time
Shut
Kiss is brought up on those websites, and they are all the time just for that specific purposes.
Yeah.
Those two, Blabbermouth and Ultimate Classic Rock, they exist to just hate on, or for other people to hate on Kiss.
Well, and I was going to say, there's a reason why they post Kiss. I don't really see very many other bands pop up on there. Metallica might and other bands might, but Kiss is the band that is consistently, maybe just because I'm a Kiss fan, I just only see that, but Kiss is the band that is consistently posted on those sites. And yeah, you're right, it's because they know that they will get the most comments, the most engagements, and the most views. Yeah. And honestly, that's all it's about. It's all about the clicks. Yep. It's all about the views. Yep. All about the listens. That's right. And or the the comments and all that, the shares and to me it was like, man, I'm hearing all this noise from non-Kiss fans, and it's like, why?
What are you even doing here?
if Iron Maiden started doing an Off the Soundboard series, why I myself personally, the last thing I would do is go out of my way to go find, or even if I did see one of these posts, and comment on it going, man, Iron Maiden didn't play that very well. First of all, who am I to say whether they played it very well or not? You know what I mean? It's like people will just go out of their way to say negative stuff for no reason. And that's why I hope you enjoy this podcast, because Jeb and I try really hard. Actually, no, we don't. It comes very easily to make this a very positive podcast, because Kiss to us, as we stated, is a very positive thing. It's very positive in our lives, so hopefully it's positive for you guys too. Right. Because, so anyway, we'll go back here, because I'm excited for this Off the Soundboard to come out. It's coming out September 9th. We are getting a 77 show, so I know plenty of fans are like, loving that. Yeah. The fact that we're going to get some 70s stuff. Sure. We'll see what comes next in that series. But Kiss are adding 100 cities to the end of the road tour. How does that make you feel?
Friggin' awesome.
Friggin' awesome?
As long as it's in the U.S. As long as we're getting some North American dates.
I heard that Mexico might be on the list. I think Gene has mentioned Mexico twice in the news. So that to me means North America.
100 cities is a lot.
Yeah, there's no way they're playing 100 shows in
Mexico.
100 shows in Mexico. You know what I mean?
If they're coming anywhere around the Midwest,
I hope Mexico gets their shows. I hope they get some more Canada shows. I don't think they've done too much in Canada. Kiss Army Canada needs them. And then if you want, come on back, because you know that folks in the States. We'll go see him again.
Play a smaller venue. I'd love to see him again in a smaller indoor venue.
You and I have twice on this. We've seen 6 shows on this tour, and twice we have said, "Okay, this is it.
It's done.
This is the last." So maybe the third time will be the charm.
Well, but
we'll see.
We've also acknowledged, if they come around, what are we going to do?
Not go?
Like the idea of them coming around and us not seeing them just doesn't seem to make sense.
The idea of Kiss coming around to our area and us saying, you know what?
Not this time.
I've already seen them. How dare they? It's like
that doesn't exist for us.
What kind of person?
What are you too good for? Seeing Kiss again?
What kind of prideful attitude is that? It's like, I get it if you can't because you can't afford it.
That's one thing.
I'm getting there. Like I'm not. If I go see him, I'm about to go see him at the door. I'm about to go see him in the parking lot and just get
I'll be selling T-shirts outside.
I'll be selling bootlegs to fund my ticket. But no, I can't imagine not going to see Kiss if they come around. Lucky 14, sign me up. Yeah. But if they don't, they don't.
I say as long as we feel that they're putting on a good enough show and it's worth going, and we just saw them earlier this year. I have no reason not to see them if they're still delivering on the level that they are.
Oh yeah, no, I mean
it's still the best show.
It's one thing if they were coming out and just sucking bad, man.
It's
but
not
they're
like
not.
we're going to see them just because it's Kiss. That's not the case. We're going to see them because the last time I saw them was absolutely
one of the
phenomenal.
best shows ever.
Yeah, so, like I said, it was the best sounding Kiss show.
And it was like...
And if I get to do that again, I'm going to go.
And it was for like 1/5 of the crowds they've been playing over in Europe, man. I mean, there was maybe
seriously.
like 10, 12,000 people there versus the 40, 50. And I mean, you couldn't tell me otherwise because that show was insane.
It was amazing.
That Dayton show was awesome.
Yeah.
And yeah, if they come back around again, I'm going to see them no matter what. But either way, it's just a great time to be a Kiss fan. So hopefully everybody out there is having just as much good time as we are. Yes. And if you are, like this video and subscribe because we're bringing these episodes every 2 weeks. Right. And before we wrap up, we have one more thing to do, and that's the Collector's Corner.
Ooh, yes. Let's see what Xander's got in the mail.
If you thought I wasn't buying Kiss stuff, you were wrong.
Dead wrong.
Dead wrong. Here's part of the reason why I'm broke. So I almost ripped
oh,
that.
God, that's always
bad.
scary.
I'll just cut the whole video. No,
cut the whole video. We're doing it.
So check it out, man.
What was that?
Kiss Monster air fresheners.
Oh, I need one.
I got 3 of them actually. They're all the same, so you might as well have one.
That's awesome.
Because I was about to say I got 3. I didn't think they were the same.
Actually, I already have a Kiss air freshener in my car, but that one's old.
Oh, you're gonna open this?
Yeah. What the?
You're gonna open it and you can use it. So here we go. 2, 3. We got 3 Monster air fresheners.
I didn't know they had Monster air fresheners.
See, I bought these on eBay for very, very cheap because they were very, very cheap and they were Kiss, but they were also Monster. And guess what? Cool. 10 years of Monster coming up this year, bro.
That's true.
10 years of Monster.
True. In October, it'll be
crazy. But yeah, not a tremendous amount of merch released around this. At least maybe I'll have to go back and look. Yeah. But when I saw this, I thought, wow, I don't have that. I need that because Monster is a top 5 for me, and I love collecting Monster merch. Yeah. You know me, I have all the albums. So why I didn't have these, I don't know. But I'm glad I do now because
it's pretty cool.
I'm going to add those to my Kiss Monster collection. And then, so, all right, we got some...
Yeah, I'm opening that.
We got some new Kiss stuff there, so it's only fitting if we have some vintage Kiss stuff. What's this? Thank you for supporting my small business. You're welcome. Hey, if you're selling Kiss stuff, I'll support you all day long. So check this out. I think we may have seen something like this before. Oh, no, it's a little bit different.
Vintage.
This is
I love that Hot in the Shade.
This is a Hot in the Shade shirt. Yeah.
Was that from the tour?
This is from the tour, I would imagine. There's no dates on the back. It's just
still probably from the tour. The stamp.
The stamp logo, which is what our logo is based off of.
Yes.
Absolutely. Awesome. But yeah, so this was something that I found on an on an eBay auction.
Gotta love eBay auctions, man.
Just stay off eBay and eBay auctions. Let me handle it.
Yeah.
I'll be fine. But no, I don't want to give anybody any ideas. But no, I've been hitting these eBay auctions a lot lately. And so one of the things I'm seeing a lot of is these vintage shirts. Mm-hmm. And these things will go for $50, $60, $100, $125. Yeah. No, I won't be buying that. But if you want to get one for $30 or $40, hit me up. Yeah. Because, I mean, I saw this and thought, wow, fantastic. Love this album. Yep. Love this tour. This tour was insane. I think this one at the time was in my top 5. Yeah. And I would not be surprised if this finds its way back into my Kiss Spotlight. Because this album, to me, is a summer album. This is the album that I love to listen to the most during the summer, windows down, cruising down the road. I mean, Cadillac Dreams, you bet I've got them.
I do love that. I do love that song.
Love this album. I love this.
I don't agree about the album, but it's...
The album
there's
could
a handful.
The album could have been a lot better. There are some filler. I mean, of course, there's a lot of filler on the '80s Kiss albums, but I mean, "Rise to It" is a top 10 song for me. I think. Forever was a huge hit for the band, one of the biggest. I mean, you got Silver Spoon.
Love Silver Spoon.
Love Me to Hate You, I think, is an underrated one that doesn't get any love, but Paul's vocals are just ripping.
King of Hearts is a great song.
King of Hearts is actually probably one of the best '80s Kiss songs.
Love King of Hearts.
And then there's the ultimate "Read My Body," which is like tier A, right?
It's like that's a top 3 Kiss song right there.
So this is, let's see.
Not really, we're joking. Boomerang's pretty cool though.
Here's the other one that I have.
Yeah, you got another one. Look,
that's the same. That's definitely different. You can look at the glasses. They're different glasses. So yeah, it's a different
graphic.
I actually did thought that when I
you bought the same one.
When I bought this, I was like, yes, I'm buying the same shirt.
So you can wear one.
Wear one, keep the other one. But no, it's 2 different ones. So, But either way, pretty cool. I love...
Was that a medium?
This is actually a large, man. This is...
Why were shirts so much smaller back then?
This is a large, and I tell you what...
It looks like a... in the modern day, that would be like a
This
medium.
is like a smaller medium, yeah. This is definitely like...
Like all t-shirts from the 80s.
Huh?
It's probably shrunk.
Shrunk.
Yeah, I mean, definitely shrunk.
See, it still seems like all the old shirts from...
But also, I mean, we've also gotten taller and fatter over the years, so I mean, sizes
we are getting
sizes
bigger.
are changing accordingly.
We are getting bigger as a race.
I love collecting Kiss merchandise. And then actually the most recent, or one of the most recent things I got was this little thing right here.
Yeah.
And if you don't know what this is, and what's on this 8mm tape, that means you have not watched the most recent video on our channel besides this one. You can check it out in the Cool Kiss content playlist on our channel. So if you want to see some unreleased footage, check out our channel. Subscribe to Kiss Army Things because we're bringing the positive, fun Kiss content that you need in your life. Now, please leave your comments because, again, we love hearing what you guys have to say. For us, it is actually not about the views, not about all that stuff, because if it was, we wouldn't even been doing this podcast.
That's true.
We are doing this because we love the band.
Mm-hmm.
We want to see the band's fan base continue beyond us, but we also want to connect with the other Kiss fans out there. Most of us these days are just stuck at home or, you know, whatever, but with technology, we're able to actually communicate. And life is, especially these days, it can be tough. And so you need to find the people in your life that are positive, the things in your life that are positive, and hopefully we can be that for you, because I know that you guys are that for us. So leave your comments on why you love Kiss, what you're collecting. I love all that stuff. Anything you guys want to leave us, we're grateful for it. We'll read some of your guys' comments on the next show. We love hearing what you guys have to say. And so, Jeb, is there anything you want to wrap up with as we're heading out?
No, not really. It was a good show.
Can you smell it through the package?
No, I tried. I think I did.
I can't smell it either, but
I'm going to open it up.
He'll open it. I'll give a full report. No, I'm just playing. Yeah, I mean, like us on Facebook and Instagram. I mean, we have tons of other stuff on Instagram that you guys are not getting if you're just watching the podcast. I mean, Kiss Merch of the Week. We're posting all kinds of celebratory stuff. So be sure to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, subscribe to YouTube. We love the fact that everybody wants to talk Kiss with us, and hopefully it's a positive thing for you guys as much as it is us. In either case, this is episode 30.
Heck yeah.
30 of
Feels like
Kiss
we've done
Army
more.
Things. Really?
But I mean, it's bi-weekly, so.
It's every 2 weeks, so it could be 60.
Because
But
we've been doing this for over a year now.
yeah, over a year and a half we've been doing this. It's been a lot of fun. So thank you if you are a regular viewer. Thank you for watching. And if you're a new viewer, we're glad you're here. Yeah. Hopefully we'll see you next time on the Kiss Army Things podcast. This is episode 30. Yeah. Sipping on that Moneybag soda.
I drank all mine, man.
You drank all yours. I'm about to finish mine
That's delicious.
As soon as we close it up. My name is Xander.
My name's Jeb.
Have a great day.